dedication to create first a group and cycle like the Circle of the Coin for educational purpose, to have, like a promotion and advocacy of digital assets to people, move now to a more active entrepreneurial role into a group based in Luxembourg, which is Digital Access, as well as Mami, who is as well what I call a very innovative entrepreneur that has been working, for very prime international banks, some of them that we shared in the past, but as well through, impact-driven organizations and philanthropical organizations, and now that is really rising as an expert into what we call DeFi. So we will have as well Mami's vision and insight. And we are very pleased as well from Asia and Malaysia, Rico. That's Malaysia now. You are in Malaysia. Having Rico Pang joining us today. Rico is as well, a veteran entrepreneur, has been involved in many fields of business and finance, and now has his own entity and group, which is dedicated for multifamily office services and recommendation, alongside being himself an entrepreneur into blockchain and an active figure through as well his forum that he will be sharing us some words, dedicating to build up more consciousness, more awareness, and more impact through DeFi. So let's get started, guys. I think you can all unmute yourself now. I will start with Rico. Rico, you are still on mute. Rico, I will start with you. So Rico, where did it started? How can we grow like an entrepreneur like you? Where it started, the journey?
Well, in fact, I got involved in the blockchain space back in 2014 when one of the family office that I was working with wanted to launch a token in their current business. And at that time, 2014, 2015, it was very hard to find good blockchain full stack developers, very expensive. And many people did not understand how the blockchain space operate. I then went back to do a lot of work in the traditional style business as a CEO for a public listed company. And back in 2017, I met my business partner, current business partner for Sanctum, Danson Teo, who is an OG in the Bitcoin space. He's been around, it's been around for 12 years in the Bitcoin space. He was involved from very beginning, early miner, professional gamer, started trading, gaming accounts and skins, weapons using Bitcoin during the start. So he was involved from the very beginning, and I learned a lot from him. And I'm still mentored by him in all the knowledge I have in the space. And soon enough, we got involved in incubating blockchain crypto projects. Alongside, we also invest in deep tech sectors, robotics, AI, quantum computing, biotech. We are still doing those sort of traditional business that is very impactful. But at the same time, we incubated a lot of projects and got involved in running and starting blockchain tech business. We find that the whole space is moving very quick in terms of the cycle. Not just the tech itself. I think the projects, ideas, innovations are coming very quickly. We were very actively involved in the development of NFTs, non-fungible tokens. Although the technology is not there yet, we're still looking for the tech to make it non-fungible. As we all know that most of blockchain has an issue of scalabilities, speed, in terms of IPFS speed as well, and storing and all these things. So we have a lot of infrastructure layers from layer 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the whole blockchain architecture that's not ready. However, for the cross-border payment sector, in terms of the decentralized financing, in terms of doing transaction between fiat and crypto ramps, integrating with different payment gateways, that sector is growing very rapidly. We see a lot of innovations coming up. We incubated a few projects. The latest project we incubated was called the Block Bank, which is going to be a digital banking solutions. Moving forward, there will be integrated with a lot of algorithms, AIs to improve the user experience and advising the user on how to make investments, manage the finances better. So I think that something is very interesting to us. On the other hand, we are looking at starting up a few more ventures along the payment side, which includes acquiring banking license and multiple different sort of licenses so that it could be regulated. So decentralizing financing is a very tricky thing now. On one hand, you have people who want it to be transparent and regulated. On the other hand, there's a flexibility where it's being done in private. So this is the flexibility that we believe that every person would have a right to assess this decision, whether they want it to be private or they want it to be transparent. You know, it works both ways. It has its risks involved in decision they make, and that decision should be done by the person themselves. So I think that's where we are looking at, working with regulators, working with central banks in terms of launching their digital currency, CBDC. We have been lobbying with many governments on the high level to have a very solid architecture in terms of transforming their currently traditional fiat to be minted using digital crypto. I think recently this 2 months has been very exciting for all of us in the space with the announcement of El Salvador using Bitcoin as the official currency. We have been working on this sort of initiative for a long time, and we believe that in the next 1 year or 2 years, there will be more and more countries, central banks adopting these strategies. So in terms of that, I think it's a big win for most of us in the blockchain and crypto space, where we see that, you know, the adoption of cryptocurrencies and decentralizing financing is getting to be more and more popular. The cost of transaction is still a big challenge now because of most of us who were using Ethereum blockchain earlier on. We saw the spike of transaction fees and gas fees. That's something that can be resolved. There's many protocols layer 2 they are resolving the issues at the moment as we speak. And we see that the storage of the data, a lot of data are being stored, and we are looking at multiple projects that have encryption IPSF sort of solutions to resolve those of privacy and cybersecurity issues. So in terms of the DeFi space, more and more artists are getting involved recently, especially the last 1.5 years due to the hype of NFTs. We are working with many talented people who is going to bring their content, whether it's from music, online content, productions into film and music. A lot of inventors and creators will be putting the content and making it into NFTs. So I think it's been a very exciting year for the last 1 year, even though it's over pandemic. And right now, actually, Jonathan, I actually moved to Dubai. I'm actually speaking to you in Dubai. We were here for AIBC conference, and most of us decided to stay back as most of the pandemic cases has increased back in our home country. So yeah, more and more of us are moving to this side of the world and converging all our minds together to do something better for the people.
Well, Rico, thank you for that very dynamic introduction, I will call it. You know, like it's like the segment. The segment is dynamic, and that's what we perceived in your insight. So thank you very much. Mami, you are putting your hands really into the DeFi. You are a developer. You are architecture expert in that aspect. Could you first tell us when and how did it started? Where did it started your passion for blockchain and DeFi, and what you are doing at the moment?
So I think it started maybe in 2014. I was looking at Bitcoin when I was working at JP Morgan, and the tech team, because I was on the tech side there, were talking about this money that went like to $800, and we were thinking, oh, what is this? And that's how my interest started. But it took me 3 years to get into it. And I started working on the Ethereum 2 in particular. I'm one of the Ethereum 2 core dev, so I'm directly working on one of the clients that aims to solve scalability issues. and also energy consumption, because one of the issues with blockchain is the energy usage. And I've been so involved into blockchain for almost 4 years now, and started to use DeFi quite recently, but very intensely. And I'm starting to educate people, especially in France. We have quite a large communities, because a lot of DeFi projects are led by French people. And so I've been teaching how to use projects like Uniswap, Curve, and explaining why we can get so much API and yields, because it sounds like a scam, and teaching people to detect scams and pitfalls, basically. And besides that, I do a lot of, I'm not sure how to call it, maybe philosophy, but I tie into my background in both finance and social impact, because I used to work in nonprofit, and see how this can help change, especially in developing countries. So I can talk more about that later.
Thank you, Mami. Edouard, you are the founder of the Circle of the Coin, which is one
Yes.
of the one of the precursors in the francophone, regions in terms of blockchain, and you are as well now getting more and more involved into the segment with that group that you have co-created, Digital Access. Could you tell us where and how did it started?
So I first heard about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies maybe in 2012, but at the time I did not understand it. I didn't have the background, and but quickly in 2013 I realized that this was the opportunity of my life. So I got all in 2013, and I got involved in all the project I could. So I started with mining operation, mining pools, helping developer and entrepreneur, and of course co-creating Le Cercle du Coin. That is a French-speaking association that who aim to promote cryptocurrency usage, lobbying for regulation, and of course explaining the concept to people. And now it's been 3-4 years that I'm more involved in finance. My idea was I felt that there will be more and more exchange between traditional finance and cryptocurrencies. So I got involved more into finance. Right now, I have a fund that is called Digital Access that help investor get exposed to the digital economy by reducing most of the risk. That is to say, the volatility, the drawdown, and making it simple and more secure.
Very nice, very nice, very nice. So Edouard, so now, in terms of perception for the future, what would be your perception? Because you were, like 2012, 2013, it's like quite.
Yeah. So
where do you see it going?
Despite that I'm a strong believer, I'm every year surprised how fast it spread, and how the industry adopt and accept the digital economy. It's surprising. It's very surprising. We've seen recently with Salvador that made it Bitcoin an official currency. It's even for me, it is surprising. It goes very fast. It is hard to follow everything. It's a very, very dynamic environment, and I hope it stay like this because it's a strong sector for innovation, and it make people interested into many things. For example, DeFi, you will take an average person. An average person don't especially like finance, either from the political standpoint, it's viewed as negative, or from a professional standpoint, it can be a boring job. But the people that get into DeFi, because they are involved, because they can participate and talk about it and express their ideas, they love it. It makes people very interested into finance, very passionate about it. So this is what I really love about this ecosystem. It makes you interested into things that you would not otherwise get into.
Very nice, very nice. Rico, how fast it will continue to go? I heard quantum computers and all the things. You put all the keywords, you know, all the keywords were tagged. You know, I can like that. So where do you see? You know, like now we have El Salvador. We saw, you know, like a Jack from Twitter making a lot of Nigeria, you know, like flags and whatever. So what's going on? What's going on, Rico?
Well, I think most people didn't understand. There's a different understanding of what crypto is about. We all believe that Bitcoin is the future. It will be the universal currency that is going to replace US dollar or any other currencies in the world. It will be the currency for the people. And that's what the Bitcoin is about since its inception. And with the track record of the last 12 years, it has proven to us that it has only been widely accepted by more and more people, more aware of it, or what its function, how it works. I'll try to explain to my parents as well 4 or 5 years ago, and versus last year when they were sitting at home, they had nothing to do. They started reading all this news hype about Bitcoin and this price on the news. And like, what the hell is this? How did this happen? We thought it's a scam, it's a slow scam. And I say, yes, it's a slow scam until you accept that this is not a scam anymore and you believe in it. It's much better than a religion, right? So I think, yes, there's been a lot of hype. A tweet can change the price of the Bitcoin, maybe. Actually not. I think it's more of a way of how the society works. There's people who are greedy, who wants to make money using crypto. There are people who want to build tech around the technology that's being used to build Bitcoin, the blockchain technology. So lots of people do not understand the difference between this. And in order to build something like this, it takes a lot of time, a lot of infrastructure, architect needs to be invested, and with coders working on it to make it happen. So yes, quantum computing, once it reaches maybe 150 to 200 perfect qubits, it may be able to hack our phone, our wallet, our cold wallet, in a way, it may does, but which is why a lot of us are working along that line to safeguard our assets. And I believe that regardless how good is this quantum computing is, it still needs a lot of work to be done. It's not just like plug and play a supercomputer able to process that speed and it can execute. To execute, it needs a lot of work. A lot of algorithms needs to be developed. A lot of coders need to be integrated into it to make sure that it can do what it wants to do. Yes, it's AI, but it's still managed by people. It's still managed by human. So I think it's up to all of us to decide what we want to do with the technology, not the other way around. So I think that is where we invest a lot into the deep tech sector, alongside with all the other interesting things we are doing in the fintech, crypto, blockchain side. To us, making humans' life with better quality and in bringing more convenience to people over time is what matters to us all. We also invest in quantum genetics, using quantum technologies to improve genetic analysis and make us understand human body better, and hopefully it can help us to cure certain diseases. So along the way, our data, our privacy has to be encrypted using cryptographies, algorithms, and scripts. So I think that's where we all see the technology world. Yes, a lot of things is happening and it's very exciting. I think we have many world leaders who are involved in this movement, and my company and my partners, Sanctum. The word Sanctum actually means to create a holy place and a harmonious place where people can enjoy the sovereign rights and their access to freedom as a human. So that's where we are lobbying for, and that's where we are working towards that. On my side, in the blockchain space, we are creating the World Blockchain Center as an NGO initiative to actually sponsor kids who are underprivileged to learn coding. We recognize that our space are very short of talents, especially in the coding side, and we believe that this is one of the approach that we can help more kids and more underprivileged kids to get financial freedom in the very near future. So it is an initiative that we are involving many stakeholders in the space who are coming in to contribute towards this growth.
Thank you, Rico. Thank you very much. Mami, you would like to maybe comment on the resisting quantum computing, because that's one of the question and one of the regular concerns that can say there is a threat to blockchain and digital assets and digital currencies. Like maybe now we cannot, but maybe in the future everything can be cracked and hacked. So what will be your thought about that? And beyond that question, it would be the same aspect. Where do you see and where do you feel all this is heading?
Okay, so I'll address the quantum computing part. I've been implementing cryptography and contributing to the cryptography standards for Ethereum 2. So this is something that I discussed with cryptographers, and it's all open on GitHub, so the discussion are available there. Basically, both Bitcoin and Ethereum and all blockchain use something called hardware derivation path, hierarchical derivation path, HD wallets. And those are quantum secure, and those will allow you to create an infinite number of private key from your seed phrase, which is how you access your funds. And if we ever have quantum computers that are strong enough to break elliptic curves, which are the basis of cryptography for blockchain and most of the web, we can just use new cryptography and use a different derivation path to switch to quantum secure algorithm. And right now, the NIST, which is the US standardization body on cryptography, is running a competition. There are, I think, 6 or 7 quantum secure algorithm that will be standardized, I think, in the next 4 years. And the thing you have to know is that today, with the, I think IBM and Microsoft have the most advanced quantum computers. They can't break even RSA 1024, which is something that hasn't been used since 2000. So we have maybe 10, 15 years before we are threatened. And even then, we already have things in place to migrate. So that's it for Canton. And now, regarding where I see all the space going, and especially regarding social impact and inclusive finance, I thought about 6 axes. So one thing that blockchain and crypto showed is it's a very robust financial system. In 2008, you had a 40% crash on the global financial markets and a world economical collapse. So governments had to save insurances, banks, clearing houses, custodians, governments, and pension funds. And the regulators had to step up to create new rules. In May 19, 1 month ago, the crypto market crashed by 55%. Centralized exchanges didn't work, but decentralized finance did. No bailout needed, no under-the-table deals. Loans were repaid, you had margin calls, problematic positions were forcefully liquidated as planned. It just worked. Like, the only thing you lost was valuation, but no one lost trust in the system. And I think this is, like, people thought that was the end of crypto, but I think it just marks the beginning, showing that you don't need a centralized institution for things to work. Now, second thing, I think crypto will really be driven by countries in crisis, where trust is an issue, because if you live in Switzerland or France or the US, you can trust somewhat your financial system, your regulators, your politicians, somewhat. But in countries where that are the biggest adopters of crypto, so Nigeria, Colombia, Venezuela, Argentina, you cannot trust centralized institutions because of corruption and bribing. You have no infrastructure, like even going to a bank to borrow, to open a shop is very hard. And you have no regulators, no custodians, no clearinghouse for high-stake finance. And you cannot even trust the money because I mean, there are a lot of memes about Venezuelan bolivar, of how much bolivar you need to buy a chicken 1 month, 2 months after, 3 months after, and now people are using it to do handcrafted art. Point 3, in developing countries, they have the habit of leapfrogging technology. Like in developed countries like the US or Europe, you had ADSL of fiber, but in Africa, you went to 4G directly. You don't use a computer. You already use your phone. Same thing with financial system. You have credit cards in Europe or the US, and in Africa, you pay by SMS directly. And we are going this way also in Western Europe. And I think the developing countries will also do leapfrogging for finance. They will skip the financial institutions and the banks and will go directly to decentralized finance. Point 4 is about self-organizing communities. In a lot of places, everything is done by trust and legitimacy, and small communities like in Brazilian favelas, in Hong Kong, following what happened with China, even in Iran, in the aftermath of ISIS, people, they stay in the community that trust, and every transaction is done within those communities. And I think this is very important because people on the field know best how they want to help themselves, and giving them the tools is very important. And even in the past 7 years, with microfinance or impact investors or venture philanthropists initiatives, that's how they work. They give money to people to help themselves and develop the community. And decentralized finance would help in how to get funding, how to exchange value within the community, how to, let's say, set up a cooperative for sharing farm revenue across a village. Like there are 50 people cooperating on a farm, and how to share revenue. And now more, let's say, philosophical and revolution. If you look back 600 years ago at the Renaissance, the two biggest inventions of the Renaissance were, one, printing, so the printing machine, to share information in a wide manner, and two, double entry accounting, which was created in 1494 and allowed people to fund very large projects, go across the sea, and making sure that everything you found or traded was accounted for. For me, internet is equal to printing, and blockchain or decentralized ledger technology is equal to accounting. And maybe we will see a crypto renaissance in the next 10 to 20 years. And on that front, I want to quote one of the early cypherpunk. It's called Timothy C. May, and it's a quote from 1988. And he said, "Just as technology of printing altered and reduced the power of medieval guilds and the social power structure, so too will cryptologic methods fundamentally alter the nature of corporations and of government interference in economic transactions. Combined with emerging information markets, crypto anarchy will create a liquid market for any and all material which can be put into words of and pictures." So if you look into it, he predicted 30 years ago NFTs and Bitcoin, basically, which is crazy. I want to finish with something about people saying that it's a bubble. There is this philosopher called Tayeb, he wrote Black Swan after the financial crisis, or before maybe. And he also wrote something called anti-fragility. Basically, something that is fragile will go down in value with a small change in the market. So, for example, a single restaurant is very fragile. It's fragile because it's sensitive to, let's say, the location, the weather. Maybe there are some construction around. Maybe businesses disappear and go somewhere else. The restaurant industry as a whole is robust because we always need to eat. So there is always a demand for a restaurant industry. But if you look at the internet, it's anti-fragile because the more there is chaos, the more it becomes valuable as people search for resources, information, and support. And in the past, we had a lot of anti-fragile technology. Of course, we had weapons, like in the past you had stone weapon, then iron weapon, and now we have powder-based weapon. You had knowledge, you had steam power, you had electricity, and internet. Like, as things change, electricity or steam power increase in value, and people who invested there first became very rich. With crypto growth of more than 100% per year, it's not either it's a big bubble or it's an anti-fragile asset of a new peer-to-peer based society. So you have to take your position and pick something, bubble or anti-fragile.
Very nice, Mami. Very nice. Passionating. I will say passionating, and I would appreciate if you could share with us, like the quote and the link to the quote. Maybe that will be quite nice. You can maybe share it, like on our private chat, and we will release it, as well. Edouard, if we are looking at, some people say this is a bubble. Some people say, it's already too late. It's already too high when we speak about Bitcoin. And we see there are many other digital assets and digital currency. So the question is, because we want, to know to what extent it can make a difference for the majority of people, not for the smart elite, not for the smart one. Okay, guys, we don't care what was your background. You were the smart ones, okay? You were the smart one. But now, what about all the rest? We have 7.5 billion people on the planet. How can, and is it an opportunity for them as well? For them, even if they start with something very low, as couple of dollars, couple of equivalent in their currency from Venezuela or from Argentina or from Nigeria or from whatever. So how is it possible for them to join this potential wealth creation and virtuous cycle of a decentralized finance that will bring something positive for the world? What are your thoughts about that, Edouard?
Okay, I often have the question on when to invest, where to invest, should I invest? So a couple of things. As an individual, you cannot guess the price. You don't know where is the top, where is the bottom. You don't know if it's we are on the verge of the break of a bubble or not. So I will say don't try to guess the price. I think there are a lot of competition of people, professionals that invest all their time and resources into trading, and you cannot compete with professionals. So as an individual investor, I like to give a simple advice: is have a very simple investment strategy and just stick to it and see it on the long term. Don't try to make a short-term gain, because you cannot be as good as the professionals. So that's one thing. And then it's not just about speculation. As I said earlier, just being interested in this field, it is going to make you discover many other fields that are tied to the technology, and that is going to make you very knowledgeable. And all the knowledge you can get from cryptocurrencies is going to help. Is going to help you. Like, for example, the average person, even in developed countries, don't know what a currency is, how it works, how a bank works, how a central bank works. Most people don't have a financial plan. So just investing time, I think it's always worth it. It's always worth it. It makes you more knowledgeable, and it will help you in the long term. It could be professional, or it could be to manage your finance. Now, from a financial perspective, if you want to invest, I would say either you can look for professionals, of course you have to identify who is a legit professional, and you have to be very careful about all the people that claim to guess where the price is going to go, that claim to the sort of guru, that claim to know where the price is going and can tell you when to invest. A simple plan for a very beginner investor, first is to invest only what you are willing to lose, because there is always the risk of losing everything. So you cannot put your situation at risk and the situation of others. Secondly, as you cannot guess the price, you can average. You can average the price. You can decide to invest a sum of money regularly. It could be every month, it could be every week, a very reasonable sum of money. And that way you don't have to guess the price, because it is going to average. If you invest like this during 1 year, you will have the average price of the whole year. And if you look at on the long term, with Bitcoin, for example, we never seen the price after about 2 years going lower than it was. So if you're willing to wait a few years and see long term, you're very not likely to lose money. Now, when media talk about it, when there is hype, this is where it's dangerous, because it makes people overly emotional about those investments. And as you are overly emotional, you have crazy expectation on return, completely unrealistic expectation. And what happened when the price go down, you have the opposite emotion. So you are terrified and you want to sell. So if you're not ready for it, don't. I think it's very wise. You don't have to jump on the train. If you can invest some time to learn, I think it's always a good investment.
Thank you, Edouard. Thank you very much. Very, very interesting approach and structuring to approach, like a long-term and granular investment. Rico, when I was traveling to Malaysia a few years ago, I met, like a waiter. He was very nice. He was young, and he was passionating. And what he was looking at, crypto prices on his phone. And we had a discussion at that time. And what I really like about it, it's like he was telling me, I really take a small part of what I get, what I make, on my payment, which is, he told me, very small, but this will be my future, and this will be how I will be financially independent one day. That was basically 4 years ago. This gentleman, probably he is now, to some extent, much more financially flexible and free. So, to what extent can people like us that have experience, that have known from close or far the financial system, with its rules and fiduciary responsibilities, can we help to make the segment evolve toward more inclusion for everyone in the population? Again, we don't care about if Elon Musk make 1 extra billion or less billion. No one cares. Okay, the only thing that can affect is the tweets can make an impact on the market, but actually it's not materially important. But if we can impact 1 billion people by helping them to find the way, to find the approach or the tools, that will be material. So what is your view, Rico, on that?
You brought a very important point to the discussion today, and it's leading to what I was telling you earlier on about the World Blockchain Center. We have more than 1.7 billion unbanked people in the world who do not have access to traditional financial banking system. And you can imagine what sort of life they are in as we speak. And I think besides making ordinary people richer and making billions there, another billion, if we can, invest our time and effort in helping these people who are in need, I think that is something, a very beautiful thing that we should all be engaged into. On our end, we want to educate people and share with them, the right approach of investment. This is not a financial advice. There's a disclaimer for all of us on this panel. We are sharing some of our knowledge and experiences that we have gained over the last couple of years in real life, in actual thing of what we have gone through. So I think the fact that many people are using this opportunity to make more money, there's no right and wrong. There are people who make money, there are people who lost money. And that's the nature of this business. For those who do not have access to this sort of opportunity, a lot of us in the space are making the effort to bring the technology to them, to bring the education to them, to bring the tools to them. And I believe this movement is a global movement. More and more people are joining the wagon to do this together. And many of us are converging into this movement in the same direction of helping the people who needs it the most. I think this is one of the most honored things. I was happy that I was part of this movement since 2017 when I met my business partner, Dunstan Teo. And we have been discussing a lot about all this high level and vision that what the world should be in the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and what would the next generation's life would be. And we visualize that they should be empowered to have access to all these, technologies and things, and they should be able to make the judgment themselves. And we have confidence in them that they can make the best judgment for human mankind. So with that in mind, we went on a journey to invest in people, investing in talent, and investing in teams to build unicorns and build technologies, build startups. That's what I see myself and most of us doing this with little effort that we put in. We hope to pay it forward and bring changes to this world by the sort of contributions we make by sharing and sharing our knowledge. That's as a start. At the same time, we also invest money and also time to make sure that they are able to bridge those different gaps and to deliver what they want to deliver. A lot of ideas, innovations are coming up every day, and a lot of young people are very energetic about this. So we like to be part of that movement to support them as much as we can. So I think being in this space is very, very interesting. We have people from all walks of life coming into this space, Jordan, and they can find a way to integrate with this technology, whether it's cryptography, whether it's blockchain technology, or it could be different sort of things. And as I was organizing the Deep Tech Forum just a couple of months ago, I realized that everyone is so zoomed into their own things that are good at. And the communications across the industry, across sectors are minimal, very minimal. So I think platform like this, Jonathan, that you're organizing, and we should do more of this sort of discussions where we bring people from different background to converge and to share and to grow together. I think that is important for the whole DeFi space and the future of digital transformation.
Thank you, Rico. Thank you very much. And for me, like it's a pleasure to see again people like us taking responsibility to try. We have to try to make a contribution. And it's important what you say, which is about, first of all, knowledge. Time is very precious. Actually, it's one of the most precious things we have in this world. Across our short period of time, and we wish it be as possible.
Life is so short. Yes.
Yeah. So when we dedicate time, and we can all dedicate a bit of time to empower people, to share, and to learn as well, and that dialogue can help. And for sure, to rebound on what you say, I think the enthusiasm on the young generation is amazing, but at the same time, we need to have the bridge with elders and their wisdom, because energy without wisdom has very high chances, to be just lost. It's like it might be a lost energy, and we have as well, to bring some aspect of ethics. This is as well very important to make the segment and the field ethical and responsible and inclusive. And I think that having a country like El Salvador, who has, 70 or more % of their population that is unbanked at the moment, and that law, the first one to be adopted by a vast majority, this is actually, like a huge statement for the population. Huge statement for the population. This has to be mandatory, like when they say mandatory, that anyone that has a shop or element that can technically make it happen, they have to accept it. And that's where I think the international organization should be more supportive to encourage innovation and not to go against, because it's much more interesting and important to find a way to empower the population to move from developing to development than to continue indefinitely to have those populations be only subject from, like receiving subsidies and help, which most of the time, as we know, are not reaching the right hands. So this is important to understand that this is a big change that is happening at the moment, and everyone can be a part of that. So thank you, Rico, for your statement and your kind words. Mami, I would like to go back to you, because from the four of us, you are the one that has the hands in the code. So, so one question, Mami, one question for you. If we have people listening to us now, which are, young or less young, they are not rich, but they want to become, just normal, in harmony. What would be your recommendation? Is it better for them to find a way to invest a little, but sometimes they don't have that little to invest? If they don't have, what can they do? Can they, try maybe to become a developer? Can they try, to become supporting in promotion or marketing to get maybe some coins that are, sometimes released by the main digital assets blockchain? So what will be the elements you would recommend so someone that is willing and has energy could reach financial autonomy through his passion or investment?
So I think there is no question here. The best thing you can invest in is education. Like whatever you want to do, invest in your education, and it will pay off dividends for the next 10s to 20s of years. And I actually did a hackathon, well, a presentation on blockchain to a high schooler in LA during the Los Altos hack. And that was something that I addressed. Currently, like the most valuable skill in the world that is accessible to everyone, it's not AI or finance, it's being a Solidity developer. Like you get into Solidity, you can get a very high paying job without any diploma or something. So that's one way. Then if you don't like code because it's something that require a certain mindset, there are many ways to get involved into blockchain without having to code. Like currently, if you look into jobs, there is a job that is growing. It's called meme lord, like doing memes. And but we call that meme lord, but basically it's community building. Community building didn't exist 10 years ago, before Facebook, before Instagram, before Twitter. But now it's a key. Blockchain is a peer-to-peer community. It's all about trust. Everyone is organizing themselves on Discord or Telegram, and you need people full-time to organize this. So if you like talking to people, if you like educating people, that's something that you can do after you educate yourself. There is, in decentralized finance, a very high shortage of security auditors. So people who like pointing mistakes after mistakes. You did bad here, you did bad here, you did bad here. If you like doing that, there are companies like Trail of Bits. They onboard people that just want to learn, and they pay you for learning, and then you become a security auditor. And that's also one path. Another thing is, like, if you like economics, psychology, you like games, you like mind reading, there is a field called crypto economics, designing incentives so that people participate and are rewarded for their participation. And all decentralized finance companies are really looking into that. So if you look into what's happening with Yarn Finance, and that's a valuable skill as well. And last but not least, there is a big issue in crypto and blockchain on user experience and design. So if you like thinking how people will perceive something, will react to something, and polish so that they feel good about it, being a designer is also something that is very valuable in blockchain. And it took 10 years. Like if you look into the blogs from, or even Yahoo or YouTube from 10 years ago or 15 years ago, and you look at it now, it took 15 years for this to mature. In blockchain, unfortunately, maybe we have 3 years before people are tired of the poor things that we put out, because attention span is shrinking. So design is also very important.
Thank you very much, Mami. Thank you very much. We are now going to enter the concluding remark. I will ask each one of you to try to answer in less than a minute. What will be your message for the citizen of the world? If you have any, like about this opportunity that blockchain, DeFi, and this digital asset sphere, what will be your message? Edouard, would you start with us on that?
Yes, of course. So to me, investing time in a blockchain ecosystem, to me, it's right now the one of the most, possibly the most rewarding possible field you can invest your time. So to me, I mean, it's I did not hesitate at the time in 2013 when I understood how big it is and how big it could become. I've been all in my time and financing it. So to me, it's if you feel like if you feel ready to, don't hesitate, because in the long term, it is going to be rewarding.
Thank you, Edouard. Rico, what about you?
Well, if you have an idea and you want to make it happen and you don't know how, and you think that this idea is a great idea to change the world, please come to me, and I will be happy to work with you. Thank you.
I like that. I like that. We are having our line that is vibrating. So Rico, you made a statement on that. Very good, very good. Mami, what will be your statement for the citizen of the world?
So 20 years ago, we had Napster, Emule, BitTorrent, peer-to-peer technology. It didn't grow into something big that made a lot of money, but what we built 20 years ago is used in blockchain now, today. And even if blockchain fails, your skills that you develop will be tremendously useful at Microsoft, Netflix, Apple, every cloud company. The peer-to-peer technology is here to stay. You will learn a lot about networking, or even if you're not a dev, design, community building, marketing is still there. And blockchain is the industries where there is the most work and the most interesting work that is done on those fronts.
Wow, I like it. I like it as well. Maybe we have 1 more minute. I just would like your guess over the next 10 years. Can we say Bitcoin reach $1 million or not? 10 years. Rico?
No, definitely not. In less than 3 years, Bitcoin will reach 1 million. In 10 years, Bitcoin can easily reach 10 million.
Wow, Rico, that's nice. That's nice. Mami, what's your thought about that?
I don't have a number in mind, but I think you need to look at the market cap, like how much trillions there are of dollars and euros in the financial market. Assume that, say, in 10 years, 50% move to crypto, and then you have your number.
I like it as well. Edouard?
Well, I don't want to sound too enthusiastic, so I would say don't expect anything and just go with it. Whatever happens, it's gonna be productive for you.
Very nice, very nice. That's the long short that is speaking, Edouard. That is digital access long short. Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us today. I learned a lot. I think our audience really was enthusiastic about it, and everything has been live streamed and recorded, and so we will share the recording, and there is a lot to learn about that 1 hour shared together. Thank you for joining. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.